Bladesmiths, in your first round of competition today, you'll be using these. On this table, we've got ball bearings, bandsaw blades, bike chain. We've got all manner of high carbon steel. And in this first round of competition, you'll have to choose at least 3 of the steels here on the table and combine them with 1095 powder into a canoe canister to make a canister Damascus billet from which you will forge a signature blade in your signature style. Good luck. Your time starts now. We've got the Hardmans versus the Harrisons over here, competing against each other and then against each other at the same time.
The potential biggest issue for me in this challenge is I've never had a canister fail on me, so I don't know what to do if it does. I have done 3 canisters.
Ron's taken his billet over to the drill press.
Yeah, he might put a vent hole in his canister.
If you want to be exacting, do it the same way every time, and you'll get the same results. She's going for a drill in a hole as well.
Same thing.
Oh, man.
This is the way the family does it.
Yeah.
Looking good. Hot metal.
So Ron comes off the press,
Hot metal come back through.
and like clockwork, Jessica's right there to take his place.
Okay, Jessica's not really pressing as much as she ought to be.
I don't have enough weight behind me to actually make the bar go down as much as I want it to go down. I have to kind of rock myself, kind of put my weight forward and move back. I have to go forward again.
I noticed Ron, while she was doing that,
Of course, you're watching over your little apprentice there, your own child. And and either you're beaming with hope or you're concerned.
I have a really good forge weld. I know that I'm gonna do an integrated bolster, and so I'm setting that up. The reason I'm putting in the bolster in the first place is because I've got such a long blade, I want more weight to be right back by the index finger.
Jesse's profile's coming along great.
I want to make sure that I have holes in my tang by the end of the round, and drilling through hard steel is never a good option. So I've decided to go ahead and drift those holes in. A couple of heats and had all 3 of my holes done.
Jessica's really gonna have to ramp it up here because she still just has a rectangular billet.
It's taking me slightly longer to forge out my billet than I had hoped. I'm behind everybody on the floor. Hopefully, if I pace myself right, I should be okay.
I've got a small warp. There's nothing I can't take off with a grinder.
Jesse really doing a bang-up job.
I'm behind schedule, and so I start to second guess a little bit the decision on putting a bolster in there. There are risks with doing this. This was not something that the judges asked for. I don't know if they're going to appreciate it.
I like what Ron's doing, putting in an integral bolster.
Super sexy pants.
Do it. How you doing?
Get in there. Got it?
Time good?
I think so.
It's different in this environment with my daughter here because I'm not just thinking about my own thing in my head, I'm also thinking about hers. I'm not interfering, not doing anything, but it's still in the back of my head. I wonder how she's doing.
Look at Jessica swing this hammer like she wants the money.
Finally, Jessica's making a blade.
So my plan now is to be done forging in about 5 minutes, and then have my hole drilled through my tang, and then get it to grind, to quench, and get it etched. And there's a lot of little steps, which means a lot could go wrong, but a lot could also go right.
Looks awesome, Jesse.
Thanks. Yeah, Dad. Woo.
Yes.
All right,
Nice.
here we go. At this point, both fathers have quenched and neither child has quenched.
Whoa!
You didn't need that ponytail, did you, kid? Jessica's blade seems to be very, very thick, and she has yet to grind down to a high carbon steel edge.
Strike quench, I think.
Yeah, and then get it clean enough so you can have it.
Yep.
What I love is the family dynamics here, because you're not doing it alone. There's a spiritual support that you're going through.
I know my blade is too thick, so I try to hog some steel off real quick.
3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, pull your blades out of the acid. This first round of competition is over.
Time's finally up, and I don't know whether to pass out or lay down.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the strength test. To test the strength and durability of your edge as well as the overall construction of your blades, I'll be bashing them mercilessly into these poles. Ron, you're up first. You ready for this?
Absolutely. Have at it.
Well, Ron, you've got a pretty obtuse edge, which is good at avoiding damage, not the best for fine cutting. There's one tiny place here that has glinting on it, but other than that, the edge is in good shape. One thing I don't like about this knife is right here. It is round and small, and there was a couple times when I was hitting where the blade would just twist in my hand, but it's comfortable. It's just difficult to control because of the size of it.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jessica, you see what we're up to. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Good job.
Well, Jessica, there's a glint that happened right there. The rest of your edge held up really well, but there are sharp corners here on the handle that were biting into my pinky, but much less weight than it had before, so well done.
Thank you.
Jesse, you're up. How are you thinking?
A little nervous, but have fun.
Well, Jesse, I like the profile you got here. It's got a pretty obtuse edge for everyday use, but it makes a good chopper. So it held up well in this test. Although it's a relatively simple looking handle, it's a comfortable handle. So in all, your edge held up well. It's a good feeling and good working knife. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, gang, it's time for the sharpness test. The apple slice. Now, I'm looking for cuts where that apple is cut all the way through, not cut partially through and broken the rest of the way. Ron, you're up first. You ready?
Absolutely.
Okay, Ron, so pretty obtuse edge. And you can see that half that apple is cut smoothly, and then it cracks. It's a fat edge. But will it cut? Yes, it will cut.
Gotcha.
All right, Jessica, you're up next. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Jessica, you can see on this blade that one side is almost flat and the other side kind of curves down to it. So I start going through the apples, just whoosh, like a wing rode right up out of them. The biggest thing is the square edges on this handle. I feel all these corners. But you did a good job getting a lot of the weight out of the blade of this knife, and it will cut. Got that going for you. All right, Jesse, you're up. You ready?
I think so.
So, Jesse, what I'm looking at here is actually some pretty clean cuts on these apples.
Thank you.
That's a good shape. Cut apples nicely. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, bladesmiths, the judges' deliberation is complete. They've made their final decision. It's time for one of you smiths to leave the forge. The bladesmith leaving the forge is Jessica. Your blade did not make the cut. Doug Markite is going to tell you why.
Jessica, your edge wasn't as sharp as that of your competitors, and your handle had some hot spots that made it uncomfortable for Ben to swing during the strength test. For that reason, we're sending you home.
Jessica, you did a fantastic job, but at this time, I have to please ask you to surrender your blade and leave the forge.
Obviously, I'm disappointed, but at the same time, I'm thrilled for my dad. I get to go back home and be my dad's biggest cheerleader. Take it for the Hardmans.
Aww.
This competition came down to the details. When I get home, I'm gonna give my family a big hug and go hang out with my ducks.